Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Ignition Time. Thank you so much for being a viewer and a subscriber. If you're not a subscriber yet, please consider clicking the like button. Please subscribe. Please enable notifications. My name is Dr. Chhoda with Ignition Time. This right here is a little bit of information about me. You'll learn more about who I am, what my journey has been like, and why you should listen to me. In this video, we'll take a closer look at how stimulus checks helped millions of our fellow Americans escape the cycle of poverty that you see on your screen right now. I was able to overcome the cycle of poverty, and my goal with this channel, the Ignition Time channel, is to help you overcome this cycle of poverty. Let's start with this headline on your screen from the New York Times. Stimulus checks substantially reduced hardship, according to a new study. In fact, according to several studies from the US Census Bureau, researchers found sharp declines in food shortages, financial instability, and anxiety coincided with the two most recent stimulus checks and all the financial burdens and all the financial stress that comes from a shortage of money. In fact, a new analysis of Census Bureau surveys shows that the two most recent stimulus checks significantly improved the capability for millions of our fellow Americans to buy food, to make rent, to be able to keep the lights on, to pay bills. It led to reduced anxiety and depression, and the poorest households and those with children benefited the most. This is an incredible analysis. In fact, let's show you this document from the US Census Bureau. This was actually data that was put together based on data from the US Census Bureau, and it shows you that material hardship and mental health following stimulus bills and the American Rescue Plan significantly help people. In fact, let's take a look at the key findings from this report. Material hardship in US households fell sharply following the passage of the stimulus plan in late December 2020 and the American Rescue Plan in March 2021. From December 2020 to April 2021, food insufficiency fell by over 40%. Financial instability fell by 45%, and adverse mental health symptoms fell by 20%. Declines in material hardship were greatest among low-income households, but also evident higher up in the income distribution. This is pretty incredible. Data from the last 12 months suggests material hardship among US households fell following implementation of all of these stimulus checks, and actually all the stress, all the material hardship actually rose in the absence of government action. I'm talking about the 6 months towards the end of 2020, where all the political games, all the shenanigans between the Trump administration involving the then Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell and House Speaker Pelosi, and the one and only the US Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin at that moment in time. And here's a key finding from this incredible report from the University of Michigan. We believe the success of the federal government's relief measures may be due to the speed, breadth, and flexibility of its broad-based approach, primarily relying on cash transfers, meaning primarily relying on money that was sent out to those who needed it the most. Let's take a look at this figure from this report. Sometimes or often not enough food in the past 7 days. You can start to see that all of the graphs actually improved after the stimulus checks. Let's take a look at additional graphs from this report. Let's take a look at figure 3. Very difficult to pay for usual household expenses in the last 7 days. Those numbers also increased with the passage of the stimulus checks. You see that blue line with the dashes in the middle? That's the stimulus that was passed in December 2021 that led to less difficulty to pay for usual household expenses. And you'll also see the ARPA, the American Rescue Plan Act, that also helped the situation. So as you can see, there was a clear and substantial impact as a direct result of these stimulus checks, which again is pretty incredible given the fact that millions of our fellow Americans were struggling. Also, the fact that the stimulus checks were primarily sent to households with lower incomes, this essentially made them more geared towards those who needed help the most. Now, can things be improved for the future? Can there be better targeting of stimulus checks, better targeting of unemployment benefits for those who need help the most? Absolutely. But overall, these stimulus checks made a big impact because people were given cash, and they were then free to use the cash in whatever way they wanted. This was extremely, extremely significant. And even among households that had pre-pandemic incomes of $50,000 to $75,000. More than 11% of those with children sometimes or often lacked food at the start of the year, a figure that has now fallen in half because of the stimulus checks. Again, this is pretty incredible, because even families who you would think had enough money were struggling, especially when they had children, presumably because of the high cost of living in certain areas. So at the end of the day, again, let's show you the cycle of poverty on your screen. The cycle of poverty is something that many individuals were forced into in 2020, but because of the stimulus checks, because of the $300 a week unemployment benefits, the problems associated with the cycle of poverty, associated with poor mental health, which, by the way, are deeply intertwined. Okay, individuals who suffer from poverty, also there's a direct relationship between the cycle of poverty and mental health. Data has shown that individuals who live in the cycle of poverty, who find it hard to escape the cycle of poverty, also tend to have mental health problems like schizophrenia, like other problems like depression. And they are also the same individuals who are raising children and are more dependent on food stamps and disability checks, because these individuals don't have help. They don't have adults to help them. They don't have other family members who help them. The result could be the inability to pay rent, inability to put food on the table, disconnected power supply, disconnected water lines, and depending on good Samaritans, depending on neighbors, having a high level of dependence on others around you, and also dependence on the government. This is a depressing situation. It's a stressful situation, having to lose your light, having to lose your water, and it puts individuals in a very, very dark path. In fact, individuals like this are more dependent on stimulus checks, more so than other individuals. So this was a summary of the significant impact of the stimulus checks. I do believe that going forward, we are likely to see more targeted stimulus checks. One thing is for sure, among families with children, nearly 90% of the improvement in food sufficiency, meaning being able to make sure the kids were fed, was attributed to the 2 weeks following the last two stimulus checks. In short, for the poorest amongst us, the stimulus checks went to pay for food, specifically for food for our children. But with that being said, people are still in a hole, especially individuals living within the cycle of poverty with children, because they need the money to put food on the table. And then if they have money left over, they can make their rent and they can try and pay back any outstanding debt, including in many cases family loans. Because for parents like this, the first priority is to make sure the children are fed. Please click the like button, please subscribe, please enable notifications. Thank you so much for watching. We work hard on this channel, and if you want to appreciate our efforts, please click the like button, please subscribe, please enable notifications. This right here is a little bit of information about us, so you can learn more about me and all the efforts I've put into this channel. One final time, please click the like button, please subscribe, please enable notifications. Thank you so much for watching. We are looking forward to seeing you in the next episode of Ignition Time. Take care. Bye.